सुंदर माधव नंद दुलारे, जीवन के मम प्राण पियारे, सुंदर माधव नंद दुलारे, जीवन के मम प्राण पियारे, नटकट श्यामा मंगल दामा, नटकट श्यामा मंगल धामा, माँ यशोदा के गिरिधारी, माँ यशोदा के गिरिधारी, सुंदर माधव नंद दुलारे, जीवन के मम प्राण पियारे, श्याम श्याम कर मीरा पुकारी, श्याम श्याम कर मीरा पुकारी, शाम हुआ हो तो हृदय विहारी, शाम हुआ हो तो हृदय विहारी, सुंदर माधव नंद दुलारे, जीवन के मम प्राण पियारे, जीवन के मम प्राण पियारे, सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकी शोकनाशनं कपीशम् अक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करं। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम्। प्रातःसमये प्रथमप्रणामः पापहराय पवनसुताय हनुमत्कृपया भवतु मे भक्तिः सकलसिद्धिसंसारनिवृत्तिः। अणिमा गरिमा लघिमा महिमा प्राप्तिश्च प्राकाम्यवशित्वम् ईशित्वम् इति अष्टसिद्धयः वक्ष्याम्यधुना यतात्मदृष्ट्या ज्ञानप्रसादादहमिनाशने निर्वासनया विरमितवृत्त्या अनहङ्कारातणिमा सिद्धिः द्वन्द्वविमोक्षा बन्धविमुक्तिः भगवद्भावितमनसा प्राप्ता स्वान्तशुद्धिः गरिमा सिद्धिः सानुकम्प हृदयेन सेवनं दीनजनाय च देवपूजनम् अहन्ता ममता व्यावहारिका एवं बुद्ध्वा बाधितबुद्ध्या लाघवेन लघिमा सिद्धिः सहसजीवनम् वन्मुक्तिः तत्त्वनिश्चया स्वात्मज्ञप्तिः अन्तर्बहिश्च पूर्णदृष्टिः महिमात्मनः महिमा सिद्धिः विदेहमुक्त्या ईश्वरदृष्टिः नित्यकर्मणि सदानासक्तिः निष्कामेन कर्म प्रवृत्तिः आप्तकामात् प्राप्य सिद्धिः आनन्दबलात् आत्मतृप्तिः श्रद्धा भक्ति ज्ञानादवैः श्रुत्यानुसरणात् सत्त्वप्रसृति प्रवर्तते प्राकाश्य सिद्धिः सर्वेन्द्रिये सर्वान्तर्ज्योतिः। अंतर्ज्योतिः sarvendriyaihi, by all the sense organs, there will be inner illumination. Inner illumination means what? There is only one which illumines everything. I think it's still going down a little bit. Or I am growing deaf, maybe. Now you see, in Dakshinamurti Stotram, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says that in Halloween time, I don't know whether you celebrate Halloween here. Yes. So they have this pumpkin. They remove the pumpkin content and then they make holes on the outside. And they put a lamp or the candle inside and then hang it, right? So it looked like there are many, many lights coming out. But actually there is only one light. What is that? The one light alone appears as many lights because it is emanating through many, many holes. In the same way, there is only one light of consciousness which itself is expressing as the ability to see, ability to hear, ability to taste, to smell, to touch, to think, to understand. They are not individual powers. They are all connected to the same one. So, in the pot, Gata, Gatastha Deepavat. In the Gata inside where there is Nana Chitra Gatotarastitamaha Deepa Prabhabhaswaram Jnanam Yasyudu Chakshuradikarana Dvara Bahispandate. Nana Chitra means many holes. Gataha, the pot that has many holes. Sthita, staying. Deepaha, Nana Chitra Gatastito Deepaha. And that one which is spreading its light all over the place. Gata Udarastita Deepaha. In the same way, Jnanam Yasyatu Chakshuradikarana Dvara Bahispandate. Jnanam Yasya, Jnanam tu Bahispandate Chakshuradikarana Dvara. From the eyes, etc., the same light of consciousness is illuminating the world. Now, if I am seeing an object, is it the object makes me see or I am seeing the object? Which is true? Is it the object coming to me, see me, see me? If there somebody is making vada, it is not vada is saying vada, vada. Vada means come here, come here. It is the nose, the consciousness operating through the nose is looking for that very experience, as though. Jnanam yasyudu chakshuradikarana dvara bahispantade janamidi tameva bantam anubhati eda samastam jagat. Aham janami iti. I know. So, you understand this, that consciousness is that which in the proximity of the sense organs, because of the proximity of the consciousness next to the sense organs as though derive their ability to comprehend the sense objects and creates a vritti, a thought. A thought is created when consciousness comes in contact with the objects through the senses. So mentally imagine consciousness is there and there is a set of senses and these senses are being closer to the consciousness. They get the ability to connect with the objects. The moment the connection takes place, the very connection means relevant thought arises. When I see an object, that thought of that object arises as a vritti. The thought arises. It may be an object of physically seeing it, or a sound, or a smell, or a taste, or a touch. And that vritti, a thought, is an inert thing. Then again the consciousness illumines it. Meaning, I know this. Janami. Iti tameva bhantam anubhati. I come to comprehend or I come to say, I know. So the light of consciousness alone is able to illumine every thought. It is a light of consciousness alone that makes all the sense organs able to comprehend everything. So therefore, it is called Antarjyotihi. Swantarjyotihi. Sarvendriyaihi. Sarvendriyaihi. Santarjyotihi. Pravartate. It goes. It engages. That is why it's called prakasha siddhi. That is why it's called of the nature of illumination. Prakasha siddhi. So all of us have got it. But we do not attribute it to the object, attribute to the consciousness. We attribute it to the sense organ. If I am able to see, it is not because eyes are capable, it is because consciousness makes it possible. Uske bina tranam api na chalati. Even a bird of grass cannot move. You know the famous story in Kena Upanishad, right? So they have become very arrogant, the Devatas having conquered the Rakshasas, and so therefore they were jubilant having a party. Suddenly there was a light, big light, a bright light appeared in front of them. So Indra first notices this. What is this light? It's called Yaksha. Who is this Yaksha? What is this brilliant light? Which we have not seen before. So therefore he says to the wind, the lord of air or wind god, go and find out who it is. So he goes there, go see. Go see means go and see. But he goes and asks, go see means who are you? Kaha asi. So then in return, that very splendorous presence, it says, who are you? You tell me first. You came to me, right? I didn't come to you. You tell me first, who are you? Hey, how dare you ask me this question? You don't know me. Aham Vayuhu. Okay, that's your name. What do you do? I can lift anything. Okay. He puts a grass in front of him. Now try. Are you insulting me? No, you try. He felt that this is an insult, so he looks for a while, and then nothing happened. Entire power it puts, the wind god, not even a movement took place. In front of that powerful Yaksha, it lost its ability. So immediately it turned back and came. So Indra asked, what happened? I don't know. When I went there, I lost my power to lift anything. So fire laughed and said, you don't know. I will go. Okay, you go. Go and see. Go see. Who are you? Fire. Okay, that's your name. What do you do? I can burn anything. Is it? Blade of grass. Try. It felt insulted first, but it could not even touch that blade of grass. It tried its maximum power to burn it, lost. Came back running, quiet, dumbfounded. What happened? I don't know. When I went there, I lost my ability to burn it. That's my greatest strength. You people don't know what to do. I will go. So Indra goes there, the Devendra. That is a god of the king of all gods. When he reached there, that Yaksha disappeared. So he was wonderstruck why it disappeared. At that very place, Shruti Mata, the goddess of Upanishads, she stood there. So he asked this question, what is that Yaksha? It was there. He said, that is Brahman. And why is that? They have all lost their ability, because without whom none of you can do what you think you can do. This is only a story to tell us that in whose presence alone all things happen, in whose absence nothing will take place. So our ability to see, ability to hear, etc., all these are possible because of whose presence? That is Antarjyoti. Antarjyotihi sarvendriyaihi, with the help of all the sense organs, pravartate. And when we are thus engaging in the comprehension of the world, if the mind is being polluted by our impurities of desires, we don't see the things as they are, Therefore, the mind is polluting the perception. Rajas and tamas pollute the perception. Whereas sattva will account it as it is. That's why sattvat sanjayate jnanam. Sattva is that which will present the knowledge as it is, not according to you. So therefore the first line, Shruti anusaranat sattva prasiddhi. The Shruti, the Mata, the Upanishad will tell us how to perceive things without the pollution of Rajas and Tamas, without the pollution of any greed or anger, lust, etc. And such will be the comprehension of the reality as it is. And for gaining that Sattva, Shraddha Bhakti Jnanadavaihi. What is necessary is Shraddha, the faith, Bhakti, devotion, and Jnanam, the knowledge. Some people only have Shraddha and mere blind belief. In that blind belief does not mean Bhakti. Mostly it is about karma, doing the puja, doing the rituals, doing this and that, where there is no heart for the Lord. There is no devotion, there is no love, there is no connection, there is no link between oneself and the Lord. And also they say that only in the temple He is there, I have to go to the temple and there only God is there, nowhere else. And even treat other living beings also badly. And they say, I am a devotee of the Lord, but they cannot deal with the people properly. Harshly they treat and speak ill words and hurt them, but I am a devotee of God. So that is not correct, because Shraddha should lead to devotion, and the devotion is what? Devotion is not only to the God, in all His manifestation. Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Samahatma. And that alone can provide you knowledge. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam enamam yanti. Meaning, enamam yanti, because of which they come to me. What do I give? Tesham satata yuktanam, those who are thus devoted to me completely, bhajatam priti purvakam, and also worships me with love. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. I give that buddhi yoga. Yenamam upayantite. They all come to me. So I will give them the knowledge. If you are devoted, you don't need to go for anywhere else. When you are devoted to me, it is my responsibility to give you that knowledge. So here, pravartate prakashya siddhihi sarvendriyehi sarvantar jyotihi. So this is the sixth siddhi. We have seen so far Anima, Garima, Mahima, Lagima, Prakamya, Prakamya and Prakashya. Then Vashitvam and Ishitvam. The last two, Abhyasena Adhyasa Nivrittihi Avrita Chakshusha Atma Amrita Praptihi Atmanishtaya Vashitva Siddhihi Swatma Priti Paramatma Bhaktihi Abhyasena Dhyasa Nivrittihi Avrita Chakshusha Amrita Prapti Atmanishtaya Vashidva Siddhihi Swatma Priti Paramatma Bhaktihi. Atmanishtaya. Atama is written, it will correct that. Atmanishtaya. Atman become Admi. आदमी कौन है? आत्मा ही आदमी है. Adam, Atman. Atman alone is there. So, is accompanying one who is said to be Maya Krita is Eva. That become Adam, Eva. Adam and Eve. Eve is Eva. As though, those who understand. Okay. Now, Adhyasa. The word Adhyasa is very important term in Vedanta. Anatmani Atma Drishtihi, Atmani Anatma Drishti, or Anatma Buddhi. In the self, the notion of not self, in the not self, the notion of self. This is called Adhyasa. See, in the Vedanta, when we explain about how we see the world or why we see the world, why we are not able to see the one unifying presence, instead of that we are seeing only the variety of things. Why is that? It is said, therefore, what is to be seen is obscured, and what is not there is projected. Just like when you go to a movie theater, before you settle down into the theater, as you sit down, what you see is only a white, innocent screen. Then as you sit down and have your popcorn, popping the popcorn, a huge one, and keep it there. So I used to wonder, how are they going to finish it? But at the end of the movie, nothing remains. Everything is gone in. So when you sit down, there's only a white screen there, right? And then slowly they darken the place. Then you see only that screen there. Then the projection starts, the movie. And the movie, when it starts, you start to move with the movie. If the heroine is crying, you also cry. If she is jumping or he is jumping around, you also jump around. So you lose yourself in the projection. And the projection cannot happen unless there is darkness. If the lights are all on, you cannot see the screen. So what first to be done? Avaranam. Avaranam means covering, obscuring, darkening. The entire place has to be darkened. Then after the avarana is done, then vikshepa means projection. As Gurudev Swami Chinmaya used to say, non-apprehension leads to misapprehension. Not seeing leads to seeing something else. Not seeing the rope leads to seeing the snake. So why do I see the snake? Because you are not seeing the rope. As though rope is being covered from your perception, and then something else you projected. It's not the rope projected the snake, you project the snake. Right? Just like in the night when you go to sleep also, you switch off all the lights, and when you close your eyes, that's all creating darkness. And then the dream starts projecting. In the same way, in the darkness of ignorance alone, due to tamas nature of the ignorance alone, the rajasic nature of vikshepa or the projection takes place. Vikshepaha eva adhyasa. This vikshepa is what is known as adhyasa. In 6th chapter of Panchadashi, Bhagavan Vidyaranya Maharaj very clearly says, Vidya, that is what is the adhyasa. Adhyasa means superimposition, projection, is none other than vikshepa. Vikshipati projects, throws. So in the non-comprehension or non-knowing the Atman of me, myself as the self, I consider myself as the body or the thoughts, the emotion, the feelings, my memories. So we live only in the projection. We live only in the adhyasa. And this adhyasa, what we have, adhyasa means this projection or the misunderstanding of ourselves is so solid. And the world also continue to encourage that. 24 times when you watch yourself see yourself in the mirror every day or more, you are creating more and more concretized adhyasa to yourself. This necklace is nice, And so you wear the dress or necklace, whatever it is, even though you have no necklace, but you wear necklace. And if nobody appreciates, how miserable you will become. Nobody, first time you are wearing diamond necklace, and nobody even notices it. You feel miserable. So why do you wear that? So that everybody will know that I have this. You are in an island where there are no human beings, only monkeys and jackals. Will you wear necklace? Anybody? Even dress? Why? Nobody is. Monkey is not attracted to you anyways. So our external, all that layers and layers we put is because what? I need to be noticed. So we live in the mind which is continuously projecting our own version, new versions of ourselves, which is to be noticed by others. Otherwise you will not be doing it. If you look at a child which is only 1 year old or less, it is not bothered about anybody. It will run without a dress also. And the mother, wear that dress. Or the makeup. It is not bothered. Because it has no, in the mind of the child, there is no individuality to feel that I am important. I have to be noticed. I have to be loved. I have to be, talked to. No, nothing like that. And slowly it starts becoming too conscious of itself. Whenever we have our graduation ceremony for the Bal Vihar, just now we finished last week, the Shishu Vihar, the youngest one, 4-year-old, the way they speak, I'm telling you, they don't need a paper at all. Because they can't read. The way they speak, I'm telling you, it's so perfect. For 10 minutes or not 10 minutes, 2-3 minutes they speak, no paper, nothing. And they speak exactly what they were told. Because they have no fear of being judged. We have one representative from each class, Shishu, and then Kinder, and then one first grade, second grade. As we can clearly see, Shishu is the one who would come and, my dear parents and teachers. As though like Vivekananda giving the lecture. Absolutely no fear. Because they have no self-consciousness. Then the first grade, more or less the same. Second grade, they will become a little slow down. They watch everybody. Third grade, one paper will be there. Just they will keep looking at the audience. By the time you come to 11th grade, without paper, they cannot say a word. Dear parents and teachers, why? Why that very same child when it was Shishu could do without a paper, why that when it comes to 9th, 10th, 11th, it cannot? Conscious, I may make mistakes, people laugh at me, they may judge me as not good, because so many things. So our projection about ourselves is what we want others to notice. What I think about myself is what I would like others to think about me. Are you not? So this is called adhyasa. Adi, asati. As means to throw. Adi, super. Adhyasa means super imposition or projection. It's called adhyasa. In Brahma Sutra, that chapter goes on and on. Adhyasa chapter is very big because first of all, you should understand where you are right now. What is your notion about yourself, which was never questioned? That is a problem. Because your parents did not question it, your friends did not question it, and you did not question it. Nobody questioned your notion about yourself. You have considered yourself as a body. You consider yourself as your thoughts and your emotions, your feelings, your memories. And nobody had questioned or asked, is it true? So therefore you never bothered. But when it comes to Vedanta, they pull the carpet first. You are not what you think. Some people won't like it. So it gives you shocks sometimes in the beginning. So what I have been thinking about so long, I am not that. Older you are, greater will be difficulty. Because younger you are, it's overcoming that is easy. But as you become more and more aged and you are becoming more and strong about yourself, the greater memories you have, or more experiences about the world you have, possibility of overcoming that is also very difficult. Therefore, one has to do abhyasa, practice. Abhyasat adhyasa nivritti. Abhyas se hi adhyas ka nivritti hoga. There abhyasa means what? Abhyasati means repetition of certain ideas. We have two things. One is called habit, another is called practice. Habit is not practice, practice is not a habit. Habit is unconscious repetition. Practice is conscious repetition. I nowadays have been having the practice of drinking coffee. That's all that. Every day I'm practicing how to drink coffee. No, drinking coffee is a habit. But if you are singing or practicing to sing, torturing everybody around you, that is a practice. Right? So, or playing violin or playing something, the entire block is getting tortured by you. That is abhyas. So, you are repeating with an intention to improve. If I do in a way today, tomorrow it should be better. That is what is called practice. If I can do this much, tomorrow I can do more or better. More perfect. So you do the abhyasa of singing, or when you are, let us say, tennis practice, they say, don't say tennis habit. No, it's not habit. The game you practice, singing you practice, dance you practice. And when some of the children go to karate class and Bharatanatyam together, together means they go to 1 hour of karate and then come to practice of dance also. And when the arangetram of such kids happen, it is a torture to watch. Instead of doing this I said, what are you doing? Dance or some karate here? Because they get mixed up in the hand, because the movement is the same. Elegance, you need to have some elegance, So look like you are going to hit that teacher also. So, abhyasa is practice to perfection. So, adhyasa, the unconsciously what we have built about a notion or many notions about ourselves cannot be overcome unless you consciously attempt to get out of it. Therefore, it is abhyasa. Bhagavan Krishna also, when he is asked by Arjun, saying that my mind is so restless. Chanchalam himana Krishna pramadi balavadridam Tasyaham nigraham manye vayoho iva sudushkaram. I consider my mind as chanchal. Chanchal means what? Fickle, restless. And interestingly, some people keep the name also Chanchal. Kya kare bhai? What is your name? Chanchal. Wonderful. Anyway, the mind is Chanchal. You keep the name also Chanchal. Chanchalati idi chanchalam. Continuously changing. Gam gacchadi idi Ganga. Continuously going, right? That's why it's Ganga. So, Chanchal, meaning Chanchalam hi mana Krishna, Pramati, always making mistake. Bhalavat, strong, Dridam, obstinate. It never listens, as though it's something which is controlling me. Tasya nigraham dushkaram manye. I consider that to be very difficult. What? Like what? Vayoho iva. Like a wind. Wind you cannot control. It's a heavy wind that comes, you cannot control it. It will destroy everything. So what do I do? Even though Bhagavan Krishna explained how to quieten the mind, how the mind can be brought under your control, all these things he explained. At the end he says, everything is fine, Krishna, but not possible. It's like a cold water on his enthusiasm. Krishna very enthusiastically explained how to do meditation. The mind milta hi nahi hai. How do I meditate? It's so obstinate, adamant, moving around. So Bhagavan Krishna also won't leave him. When Arjun says there's a problem, my mind is so fickle, more fickle it becomes. So chanchal hai. So asamshayam mahabaho manodurnigraham chalam. No doubt, Arjuna. So first of all, Guru should accept the problem of the student. If you go to the doctor, I have stomachache, you don't have it. I have it. That's why I came to you. Otherwise, why should I come to you? If he says, I don't think you have. So he says, asamshayam, no doubt. Mano durnigraham, it is difficult to control the mind. Chalam, moving, fickle. But abhyasena the kaunteya, vairagyena jagrihyate. Yes, it is possible for you to hold the mind by practice and dispassion. Or practice of dispassion. Abhyasena vairagyena cha. When you put cha, then it means two. That means you have to practice and also know what is to give up. Then only it can happen. So the abhyasa is to overcome adhyasa. Abhyasena or abhyasena adhyasa nivritti. See, why abhyasa here? What abhyasa? What practice? Jnana abhyasat. See, mind being a psychological issue, mind disturbance psychological issue, any physical practice will not be a solution. Physical practice, engaging in any action will not make your mind quiet for a long time. It may be for a short period of time. Tell if the mind is disturbed, you can take japamala and start chanting the name of the Lord. Yes, because your mind is not engaged in those thoughts, it will bring certain calmness in your mind by chanting the name of. The moment you stop, it will again start. Or you watch the breath. Incoming, inhale slowly and exhale slowly and inhale slowly, exhale. Yes, no doubt it will quieten for a while. But then you have to move on to, in the quiet mind, you have to move on to the next level. What is that? That my thoughts are not me. Even though thoughts are there in my mind, which I consider myself that to be, but actually thoughts are not me, because no thought is permanent. Every thought comes and goes. But I am the witness to the thoughts. Therefore, I am not my thought. This knowledge should take place. This knowledge should be practiced. Otherwise, so long as you keep your breath control, it will be quiet. After that, again, you will start. Prana bandhanat leena manasam eka chintanat nashametyatah. Prana bandhanat, by the control of the breath, leena manasam, mind which has become leena, quietened, eka chintanat, by the one-pointed knowledge of the truth, nashameti, it becomes destroyed. Because vayurodhanat liyate manaha jala pakshivat roda sadhanam layagadam punar bhavati nomrutam. Even as the mind becomes subsided, as you control the breath and make your mind quieten, just like a bird that is flying, you put a net and stop it. Do you think that the bird has stopped flying? No. Moment you remove the net, it will again start. In the same way, mind for a short period of time will calm down, but the moment you remove that, it will again start. So any temporary practice will only give temporary relief. I was asked to talk on some meditation or something in Humboldt University, which is in the northern part of, California. I went there, near our retreat center in Piercy, to the college students, university students. So I finished my 1 hour talk and then I came out. One young man came and said, have you really experienced the inner stillness in meditation? I said, yeah, I once in a while glimpse, but I am attempting that. You want to quickly go there? I said, namaste. He said, I have a shortcut. I don't need to tell you what that is, available everywhere here. They will create addiction. Temporarily you can quieten the mind, etc. But then you get addicted to that. So here abhyasa is not any physical practice. Jnana abhyasa. What is a jnana abhyasa? Avruta chakshusha amrita praptihi. Avruta chakshu means taking or changing your attention of your eyes from the world towards yourself. Avruta means turned inward. So like when I'm seeing something, the eyes are going outward. Pravritti lakshana. Right? Pravritti means extrovertedness, going out. That very eyes which are now getting engaged in the world outside to see the objects, they have to be turned around. That's called nivritti. So let us say that I'm seeing an object. Let us say this camera is there. My eyes are looking at the camera, right? Now let us take step by step and you understand. I'm looking at the camera, right? My thought is about what the camera is there. Vritti, thought comes. So, but what happens is, if I am not careful with a camera or a phone there, right? Phone. What phone is that? iPhone. No, it is Android phone. Maybe Pixel. So I also had a Pixel 2, It must be Pixel 3. It's Pixel 3 Pro because there is third camera. Gone. Finished. You are out. This is called pravritti. The thought process starts to flow down and quickly out. I'm just giving a simple example. And our mind, therefore, every time when you look at something, it is trying to move forward, further up, out only. You hear a music. Oh, this music I heard when I was getting married. Why did I get married? Finished. Go. Then finally say, I should not have got married. I don't know why I got married. So the thought is gone towards unwanted territories. Then by the time you realize that, this half an hour is gone. You typically find in any gathering of party, etc., they start with, nowadays weather is not good. Then finally you end between communism and capitalism. Because it's a whole topic is one topic to another topic, another, it kept on jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping on. So when I'm looking at this camera or the phone, now let me not think about that phone. So when I look at this, who is looking at it? Eyes. So pay attention, move your attention from the camera to the eyes. This is what you have to slowly practice. Irrespective of what you are seeing, let go the object of your perception and come to the subject. Looking at an object need not necessarily get stuck with that object. Think by what you are able to see. Kena ishitam preshitam. That's the question as raised in Kenopanishad. By what am I seeing? Of course, the answer is given directly, is an Atman is seeing. Because of that only you are seeing. But chakshusha pashyami. So from the object to chakshuhu. From the object to the eyes. Shift your attention. And for that, you don't need to close the eyes. If you are afraid that your mind will run, then you may probably close your eyes. But otherwise, from the object, attention of your mind should move to the eyes. Right? So the eyes are the means by which I am able to perceive the object. So object, moment I think about the object, the vritti, the thought will be about the object. When I move my attention from the object to the eyes, that thought is gone. That particular thought about the object recedes because I'm not thinking about that now. Now the eyes. So from the eyes to the thought. The thought is what is making my eyes able to go towards that object. A thought that is there in my mind as the mind is what is making because I is also a vritti. A vritti is making the external apparatus called the eyes capable of seeing the object. Now let me explain that. If sometimes when you, even many of you, keeping your ears open but not listening, is it not? So those who are not nodding means they are not listening. Because sound is coming, but your mind is not there. Don't you see some people who come in front of you, but they are looking at you, but not looking at you? Hello? Means what? Eyes are open, mind is not there. Mostly all the wives have got the same problem. I'm telling you so many. Are you listening? The answer is mind is not there. So even as I'm looking at the object, if the mind is not there, the eyes, even though open, cannot register the object. In everyday life also you meet so many people. Can you remember all the people you met? Think, close your eyes and remember how many people you met from the morning till now you can remember. Not that you walked, closed your eyes. You saw them. Tell me how many of them you remember? Those whom you noticed, specifically, those you remember may remember if you want to. So attention. So from the object you come to the eyes and then come to the mind which is behind the eyes as though. As a vritti. I am seeing. So I am seeing the camera. I am seeing the camera by the eyes, right? I am seeing the camera by the eyes. So I am seeing by the eyes. Camera you remove. I am seeing by the eyes. Eyes you remove. I am seeing. So that's a vritti. I am seeing. Remove the seeing also. I am. This is called Avritti Chakshu. Avritti Chakshu means inward journey, inversion, not introvertedness. Otherwise, the word introvertedness often, this in the present world, it is often considered as a negative quality. It's a very introvert. Actually, it is good. It's better than extroversion. So, I am seeing the object by the eyes. I am seeing by the eyes. I am seeing. I am. Then come to I. Because I am is also an identification with an individuality. I, the pure consciousness. So this I, the pure consciousness, is present whether I'm seeing or not seeing, whether I'm hearing or not hearing, whether I'm walking or not walking. That I is continuous. And when it is, because it often we travel to I'm seeing by the eyes, I'm seeing the object, and the object is good and bad, I like it, I don't like it, I want it, I don't want it, it is bad, it's gone. It is flowing out so quickly. So, Avritta Chakshusa. And when that I is recognized as the constant presence, even as the physical body is subject to disappearance, that I continues to be there. Therefore, Amrita Praptihi. Amrita Praptihi. The Praptihi, obtainment of immortal nature of the self. Mortality belongs to that which is subject to change, and that which is not subject to change, in the presence of all the changes. Avinashatsu avinashyantam yappashyati tapashyati. Bhagavan Krishna says, Vinashatsu, among the perishable, avinashyantam, that which is not subject to change or destruction, yaha pashyati, he who sees, he alone is seeing. So, therefore, there Amrita Praptihi, immortality is not something which is to be given to me. I should become aware of that. I should know it. I should not ignore it. So, Abhyasena Adhyasa Nivrittihi Avritta Chakshusha Amrita Praptihi. And then this is a glimpse one gets in the seat of meditation, but one needs to Abhyas karna chahiye, go back to that again and again. Whichever condition you are, we easily get trapped in the world. But in every encounter with the world, go back there. That is called Atmanishta. Atmaninishta. Atmanishtaya. This Atmanishta is where everything in this world, or sense organs which are interacting in the world, is your Vasha. That is called Vashitva Prapti. Vashitva Siddhihi is thereafter the world does not dictate your thoughts. Presently, what I see, what I hear dictates my thoughts. What thoughts come to my mind is decided by what? Yeah, Swamiji, my husband, or my children, or the objects in the world, or things in the world. Whereas a person who has the ability to go back to the self by choice does not allow the world of objects to decide the thoughts. Whatever it be there. Even as he engages in the world, because he has gained the ability to stay put in the self, no world of objects will create raga and dvesha to him. Joys, likes and dislikes cannot be there for the person who has decided to remain in the self and watch. Raga dvesha viyuktaistu vishayan indriyescharan atmavashaihi, the word underline. आत्मवश्येहि विधेयात्मा प्रसादम अधिगच्छति. आत्मवश्य होना चाहिए, उसका नाम है वशित्व प्राप्ति. One who is able to abide in the self even as he moves around in the world, raga dvesha viyukta, without any likes and dislikes. Vishayan, objects, indriyaihi, with the senses, charan, moving. Atma vashyehi videya atma, one who knows how to be with himself. Prasadam adhigacchati, he always remains peaceful. Prasad है वो टेम्पल में मिलता है, वो प्रसाद नहीं है, वो प्रसाद है. Prasada is prasannata. The word prasada means prakarshena siddhati idi prasada. Siddhati means to sit. Prakarshena, well, in your mind you are placid, placed, quiet. That's why the word placid, prasada. Sanskrit word prasada. Mind has settled down. That is called prasad. So that mind which has thus become quietly abiding in the self is called Vashitva siddhihi. Atmanishtaya Vashiddha siddhihi. And then Swatma praptihi. And thereafter, that person can access the blissful self anytime one wants. In fact, he doesn't come out that easily. In great Mahatmas, they remain so at ease with themselves. The world cannot disturb them in any ways. And if at all somebody comes to, take them out, pull them out, out of choice, they will come out of their state of abidance, engage in the world. As Sri Ramana Maharshi would say, that hold on to the Bhagavan's feet, both the hands. And once in a while, take one hand, deal with the world and go back. But don't leave that one hand. See, you might have seen Shankaracharyas, they hold a stick. You have seen that? What is that stick? It's called Brahma Dandam. That is representing Brahman. They hold on to it. And the only one hand they use it. It is symbolically what it means. Mind is abiding in the self, and if needed, they engage in the world, but then get back. Just like the teenagers, one hand is always in the video game. With other hand, they do other things. Then they give back to this. Or you might have seen. Are you listening? One will open. What? Okay. Nowadays, you walk, people like that mechanical little robot. All of them have that protruding things in there. That is called Atmanishta. Always connected. The phone. If only that is Paramatman, think about it. Self-realized souls. Always looking at Paramatman. So, Atmanishtaya Vashitva siddhihi Swatma pritihi. That is the most lovable, most enjoyable. Because why? It is you. What else you will love more than yourself? Presently we think I love myself because a physical body. This physical body is a mere dead carcass if that consciousness is not there. Do you love this body if it is dead? Or you love anybody who is dead? I love this person, but what do you do? It's dead. You run. Even in the most bharya abhi bibhyati tasmin kaye. Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, right? Even she is so dear to you. When the body is without that prana, then yavat pavano nivasati tehe tavat pruchati kushalam gehe gatavati vayo deha apaye Bharya bibhyati tasmin kaye. Even one's own most dear one will shun you moment that prana is gone. So it's like a batteryless phone. What will you do with it? Maybe probably for book weight. That is what the use of this. There's no power, nothing is there. What do I do? So the prana is gone, the body is mere matter. So what is that which makes you love even this? Because of Paramatma is present here. Swatma pritihi Paramatma bhaktihi. That is the supremest love. Among all love, the Paramatma bhakti is the highest because nothing comes in between you and him. Nothing can take him away from you also. Any other thing you love, sometime it will not be available to you, or it will be gone, or that one is disinterested in you. My girlfriend. Arey Baba, why don't you love yourself the most? And somebody doesn't love, doesn't matter, walk away. I am in love with myself first, then only all others. Right? It is not selfishness. It is self-esteem of yourself being the Paramatma. First, increase your self-esteem, then you will realize. Self-esteem is not wrong. Huh? Self-esteem is not self-pride. Self-esteem is knowing oneself to be the highest. Estimate your own self. Don't underestimate. One must have self-esteem. So that Atma Priti, Paramatma Bhakti. Because Bhagavan Sri Narada has said that what is the highest form of love? Sadhu asmin Parama Prema Rupa. That indeed is the highest love, which is love of the self. Then comes the basic thing of how we prepare ourselves for this highest adventure. And how do we come to access that very self, which is none other than the self of all. When I am understanding it to be the self of me, the Atman, when I understand it to be the self of all, it is Brahman. And that very Brahman is the very power behind everything that is going on. That is Ishvara. So here, Shamadamadi Nija Shad Sampatya Prakriti Swabhavan Yata Yamayati Swatma Vashat Ishitva Siddhi Tasyaiva hi dehendriya manajitihi. Not Visarga, not Jiti. Shamadama Dinija Shat Sampatya Prakriti Swabhavan Yata Yamayati Swatma Vashati Shidva Siddhi Tasyaiva hi dehendriya manajiti. Manajiti. Manajiti means conquering the mind. Deha Indriya Manajiti. Conquering of the body, senses and the mind. That's why the prescription is given to us Shama, Dama, Adi. Shama is withdrawing the mind. Dama is withdrawing the senses. So I often give this, example. So, when the external objects do not disturb your mind, it's called Dhamma. When the mind does not go towards the object, it is Shama. बाहर से न कोई अंदर न आ सके, अंदर से कोई बाहर न जा सके. What? I'm not saying, I just made a statement. Why are you laughing? Bahar se, outside se. Na antar, na koi aa sake. Nothing comes to disturb your mind. अंदर से कोई बाहर ना जा सके, मीनिंग माइंड इज नॉट गोइंग आउटसाइड. सोचो कभी ऐसा हो तो क्या हो. दैट इज कॉल्ड uparati. So where shama and dhamma is practiced, uparama is also possible. So the objects of the world are not disturbing the mind, and the mind is not on its own volition going towards the object. See, many times we say the world is causing the trouble. Many times the mind itself creates the needs to go to the world. Masala dosa. The thought comes, and then you go to that restaurant, isn't it? It is not that the restaurant is in front of you, and then you go. That's a different one. In Bombay airport, we go. There is a board, Wango. Wango means come in Tamil. There's a beautiful picture of idli and then dosha and vada. So you see that, and your mind thinks about that. But if you are at home, mind creates a thought. Why not rasgulla? Right? So then you go to whether you open the fridge and you don't find it, then you go out and then get it. So there, andar se bahar. Mind creates a thought to go out. So when you control that, is called shama. When you don't allow the external world to come and disturb you, it's called dhamma. So shama, dhamma, adi, meaning shama, dhamma, uparati, tidiksha, shraddha, samadhana. These are called shat sampatti. Sampatti means wealth. Spiritual wealth. What is wealth? What is called wealth? A person is wealthy means he can afford what he wants to enjoy. I'm capable of enjoying what I want by my own resources. Is it not? That is called sampat, wealth. Similarly, a person who really wants to use that knowledge which he has gained through Shravanam must have, even to gain that knowledge, to invite that knowledge, you need certain pre-qualifications. That's why Viveka, Vairagya, Shama, Dhamma, Uparati, Tidiksha, Shraddha, Samadhana and Mumukshutvam. Sadhana Chatushtaya. So here, Shama, Dhamma, Adi, Nija Shat Sampatya, Nija Swa. By one's own sixfold wealth of practice of mind control and control of the senses and retaining the senses with the mind and the mind in one place, uparati. Then titiksha, bearing the unexpected situations of life. That is titiksha. Then faith, shraddha and samadhan, quietness of the mind. All these six of them are considered to be pre-qualification. Because if you are going to any job, they ask, what is your qualification, right? What have you done? What is that you are qualified for? The same way, for gaining this knowledge and retention of that knowledge, you need certain inner adjustments. Gurudev calls it as fine-tuning. Like in earlier times when you used to have the FM radio, right? So the wavelengths are there everywhere. It's all, even now the radio waves are there, but we don't have the instrument to capture it. So when you tune it first of all, you get a certain range. Then go on fine-tuning it. Vivita Bharati. This was time. Now got that sound. So where is that music? Even now it is there. In today's generation, they don't understand. You know, the cell phone, where does it capture the signal? The signal is always moving around here, and your instrument is capable of accessing it. Right? In the same way, mind gets tuned to this knowledge. The ability to tune to this teacher is very important. Once you get to the tune to the teacher, tuning with the teacher, then the knowledge can start flowing. If the mind is all over the place, then even if the best of the teacher is there, Ascharyavat pashyati kaschitenam, Ascharyavat vadati tadeva chanyaha, Ascharyavatcha enam anyashrunodi, Shrutva api na enam Eda kaschit. Even after listening, nothing happens. Swamiji, I am changeless presence. Atman, try. Try to change me. I challenge you. You cannot change me. I am Kutastha Brahma. So the student's mind should tune to this teacher. So, Shamadamadi Nija Satsampatya Prakriti Sambhava Swabhavat. Because of the Prakriti Swabhava. It is the nature of things, the sense organs, etc. By their nature, they are moving about. Yatha, when yamayati, when controls. Through this practice of Shatsampati, when he is able to control one's own physical, mental urges, yatha yamayati, what? Swabhavan yamayati. The swabhava of the senses are under control. And that, therefore, the sense organ are also under one's own command and control. Swatma Vashad Ishitva siddhi. Ishitva means control. Ishvara Swabhava. Control here does not mean any torture. See, in the name of self-control, what we do is self-persecution. Control does not mean persecution. Control is a discipline, not denial. See, very many people think that, when you do control, it means denial. No, it is withdrawal with intelligence. When I know that I don't need it, I don't need to engage in it because it doesn't add any more joy to myself. I know it. Then there is no need for me to deprive myself. I naturally withdraw. I went to somebody's house for Bhiksha. She invited me. After I went there only, she started to cook. I was so hungry, just sitting there. And there was a plate full of mangoes and apples and bananas. And also grapes. I looked at it. Nobody was there. Why not I eat that? Nothing wrong in eating the fruits, So I picked up one mango there, polished nicely. Wax mango. Such a bitterness in my mouth. Wax mango. I took the mango, made sure my teeth impression is not working. Just made some more, make sure that it is, and then put it upside down so nobody will see. Parama Vairagya. Even if you give me some 100,000 rupees, dollars, I will not eat that. Why? I know it is not what I want. So once I know it is only a wax mango, I have no more desire to engage in that. So if you understand the nature of things are so temporary, you will know that I don't need this. So long as we do not have that knowledge, we always habitually go there. Therefore, swabhavat, by our very swabhava, habitually we go there. We don't even question that. Yatha swabhavat, prakriti swabhavat, that which is always there because of the nature of the things, yatha tam yamayati, tan yamayati, when he is able to control that, then swatma vasha. Then only a person is said to be self-controlled. Not out of, because somebody said so, because somebody wanted me to do so. No, I know it. That control is complete only when you understand that you have to withdraw, not somebody tells you to. So, Swatma Vashat Ishitva siddhi. Ishitvam is, see, it is said in the Upanishad also that all these natural forces around, like fire, sun, etc., they all do their work very systematically because of their fear of God. Bishasmat vadapavate Bishad udedi suryaha Bishad agnischa indrascha Mrityurdhavati panchama iti. Sun rises out of the fear of God. Wind blows out of the fear of God. Fire burns out of the... Here the fear is not because he will persecute, out of sheer respect. What is that respect? Because he is the one who makes me do it. You know, when we understand the fire, as in this, I showed you in the Kenopanishad thing, the fire lost its ability to burn in front of him because he decided to withdraw the power. So then you realize, it is not me, it is he who is making me do it. It is because of whom I am what I am. Without whom, I am nobody. I am empty. Nothing but the carcass of matter. So then, out of the respect that he makes me do it, so that is called Ishitva Buddhi. So Ishvaraha eva sarvam karoti, that he alone is doing that, and therefore when I withdraw my mind to the understanding of this, because he alone is making me able to do it, all the sense organs are trying to be away from that. So withdrawal of the Swatma Vashad Ishitva Sisihi Tasya eva hi, with that alone, for him alone, Deha Indriya Mana Jitihi. The conquering of the mind and the senses only for that person. Tasya, to the person who does have that Ishitva Siddhi, ability to withdraw. That withdrawal again is not because of any external compulsion. It is recognizing that the Lord alone is the one who is making it happen, and that very Lord is sitting in my own heart, and I can recognize him only when my senses and mind are under control. When then alone I can pay my attention to his presence. So this way, Ishitva Siddhihi. So we have completed all the 8 siddhis theoretically. But now we have to understand the practice of it. Then all the siddhis, Ashta Siddhi Navavidhi Kedata, becomes one who is filled with all the 8 siddhis. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kasyid Dukkha Bhat Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.